Welcome back to the e-commerce uptake, guys. Today we're going to talk about how to deal with low conversion rate if you have a brand over $1,000 or just extremely high AOV. So maybe you're selling beds, maybe you're selling furniture of any kind, or something that's really expensive. Jewelry could be the same thing as well. We have a lot of those clients. We work with them all the time, and they often come to us and say, you know what, we tried all the best practices on conversion rate optimization and nothing really works, right? And it's funny because we come in and we do a big audit and we'll go deep and find out exactly what is happening on the website. And there's often quite a few things they're not really doing right. They've just forgotten. And I'm going to lay it out all for you today. So we're going to talk about these things that you can really do in order to improve your conversion rate. The first philosophy or just kind of mindset I really want to talk about with you is whether you're going straight for the sale in your advertisement or you're going for signals. With high AOV, the higher it is, the tougher it is to get that sale immediately. Like, people are just not going to click an ad and buy it. It's very difficult. So what you might want to try out is advertise for signals. So that is basically where you get a hint from that client or from that potential client that they might be interested in your product. So that could be sending them to an advertorial that talks about the benefits of, sleep if you're selling beds, for example. This is just a very, very simplified example, right? But, taking them to pages of content that really talks about it. It could be a podcast. It could be an interview with an expert, or, potentially, you have a collaboration with a celebrity and you talk with that person about the changes it's made in their life. So, advertising for signal instead of advertising for the sale can be a big unlock when you have a high AOV that you're dealing with. But there are also other specific things that have moved the needle for our clients. I'm going to go over them now. The first one is trust. The more money you have to fork up front and pay, the more trust is an issue, and it's really important that you work with your clients on that. And trust can come in many different things, many shapes and forms. Obviously, there are certifications. If you have those, that will help. There are guarantees. And when I talk about guarantees, I'm talking about something specific timeline, specific result that you can get. And if it doesn't perform to that guarantee at that level, then there's a risk reversal, which could be either you get your money back or something like that. But it needs to be specific, because I'm tired of seeing guarantees that says 30-day full guarantee or money back guarantee, right? But it's not specific enough. People want how that guarantee works right there on the product page or on the landing page. So you need to be specific about what it is you are guaranteeing, and the better you can describe that, the more it's going to count in the eyes of the customers. It's really, really important. Warranties, risk reversals, really, really important. And then just transparent information on your product. So let's say you're selling jewelry, can you talk about from the mine where that diamond was extracted or the gold was extracted, and all the way until they have that piece of jewelry in their hand. Talk about the whole supply chain, how you understand that everything is done ethically. It could be a tour of your factory where you show them exactly how things are done. It can also be a tour within the company to talk, so you will show the designers that was behind this product, the product developers, and so forth. The more transparency and trust you can instill, the more likely you are going to be with that conversion. So that's really, really, really important. Now, the next thing I really want to talk about is social proof. Social proof is huge when it comes to high AOVs, and that social proof can come in many different ways. It can obviously be happy customers. So if you're selling a really, really expensive product, if you can show testimonials of happy customers, that's going to be huge. Video is the king here, really, because it's very hard to fake video reviews unless you're literally hire actors. So, you're going to have customers trusting reviews way more than if it's a written review with some random name, which you could just made up in 2 seconds. So get your customers to record videos. That flow should happen continuously. And if you're not doing that, you're really missing out here. So get that video flow up and running so you got your video reviews. And those video reviews needs to be shown close to the top of the page because otherwise they're just never going to be watched, right? So it's very common today to have 3 or 4 video reviews a little bit below the add to cart, but pretty far up the page, so people will consume those. And you can use third-party apps like Toy Story or something like that that can host the videos, and they play almost like a TikTok format, so it's super easy on mobile to digest and watch those reviews. So you want the social proof, and social proof can also be, you know, industry publications, magazines, awards. It can also be influencers, celebrities. So anything you do for social proof here is extremely important. If you don't have social proof, good luck with trying to sell your product. It's going to be an uphill battle, right? Next thing I want to talk about is financing options. So if you have high-AOV, financing options can definitely sometimes double your conversion rate. So let's say we're selling a bed for $2,000. Most people will not have $2,000 sitting in their bank account ready to go because they have other expenses like food and rent and so forth. So they need to split the payment. And so you need really good financing options here. You need to be able to delay payment. You need to be able to split the payment. And you want to have that on your product pages or landing pages. And you want to show them the options of splitting all the way down to what they have to pay on a monthly basis. Because in the end, they're going to look at that monthly payment and say, can I afford that or not? So definitely make sure that you get those payment options up there on the product page. And sometimes you want 1 or 2 options. Maybe you want 2. So it's good to show that. Klarna, Afterpay, all these other ones are really, really big, and you want to have several options for your client. So when they're at checkout, some options will just simply defer the payment, and some options will allow them to split it with a little bit of interest rate on it. So this is really important, and if you don't have it, man, it's going to be tough for you. Retargeting is the next strategy I want to talk about. So if you have high AOV, this sales cycle is just longer. We know that. Perhaps you're sending them to an advertorial page. There's a little bit of content. They can go forward with the purchase, but a lot of them will leave. And then the retargeting strategy is to hit those people that engaged with that landing page. They landed on it and they spent a certain amount of time on it. And that is a segment, that is an audience you want to retarget. At this time, perhaps you want to look at showing them social proof, financing options, and all these other obstacles that are in the way of buying. One really, like I would say, high-level hack you can use here is to survey visitors on your website about why they are not buying their product. And then over time, you'll get like, you know, the top 10 reasons. And those top 10 reasons are then what you will show in your creatives for your retargeting. So this is like super high next level stuff, which I think is really, really important if you want to get the sale eventually. The next thing I want to talk about is email marketing as well. Email can be huge, and sometimes getting the email is the best way to get people sort of into your flow. And it can be hard to get the email because if you just do the standard, you know, 10% off to get the email, if they're not interested in the product yet and they're not sure if they want to buy it, they're not going to give you their email, right? So a really clever tactic here is to do a survey or quiz that basically is all about them. It's not about like, hey, let's do a quiz and find the right product. No, this is a quiz that aims to understand who they are and what they need. So let's say, again, we're selling beds. We want to do a quiz about their sleeping patterns and, you know, maybe perhaps the beds they've used in the past, and if they prefer a firm or a firm bed or something that is a little bit softer, and so forth and so forth. And people will take that quiz because people love to talk about themselves. They love to get that sort of unique experience. So if you have a quiz that is all about them, a lot of people will give their email. And you could give that email in step 1 or step 2. I ask for that email, and then you can do a huge email sequence that is obviously not just about selling, but about like giving social proof, financing options, talk about testimonials, talk about what you go through in the process of creating a bed, like storytelling, brand, and so forth. And over time, let's say you run this as a sequence of 2 months, you're gonna get them so warm that they are going to be really, really comfortable buying from you over time, right? You could even do a podcast in there as well. So like there's so much interesting stuff that no one is doing that you can do if you have a high AOV, and that would really help you a lot. So that was email marketing. And then the last thing I really, really think you should consider is live chat and customer support. So the live chat needs to be not just pushing them into the sale, but it needs to be helping them in their journey towards buying the product that you have for sale. So live chat can definitely be helpful if it's there on demand on the website, and you can be sure that live chat is going to be used way more on high AOV brands, because people are way more think there's way more risk basically when they're buying a product of a certain price. So definitely do that. It's really, really important as well. Two bonus objectives, I just thought about them as well, is educational content is really important. So think about a podcast, think about blog posts, how-to guides, and all these things. Try to get your remarketing to point to the educational content. You're going to be seen as the authority in the industry, so I definitely recommend that you look at educational content if you have a high AOV brand. And then finally, the last bonus thing is to optimize the checkout experience for your brand. So checkout, when you have high AOV, is where everyone falls off basically, and they're going to see that really high number. It's $2,000 to check out, and they just don't have the money. So obviously we talked about financing, but it's also about holding their hands. So customize your checkout with reviews of happy clients. Really like cement that money back guarantee with the specific time frame and the specific offer in there as well. I saw a really clever approach to this where you enter your checkout information, your details, and at the very end it says that it's kind of ticked by default, and it says money back guarantee, and then it shows if you don't love the product within the first 60 days, we'll come and take the bet, and you'll get a full refund, right? So that was pretty cool how it just reminded people that the money back guarantee is enabled for this specific order. So it was super, super helpful. Obviously, you want your live chat to pop up on the checkout page so that people can ask questions if they have that as well. And then obviously split up your checkout in several steps can be good, where you ask for that email in the first step. So then you can really amplify your abandonment flow, because a lot of people will abandon doing that checkout. So those were a lot of tips for high AOV brands. Guys, if you find this content useful, I don't know if you're watching it on Apple Podcast or Spotify, but if you could please rate this podcast. Those ratings just make a massive difference. I'm putting so much energy into this. So if you found this useful at all, if this is something you can use for yourself, please go in and rate the podcast on wherever you are consuming this, and I'll be so forever grateful. Anyway, guys, this was it for today. Talk soon. Bye.